Morning and welcome to Vlogmas Day 5.
Hello. It's ready. 50 grams. 71 grams. 74 grams. Goodbye.
Sit. Wait. Wait. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I was supposed to pick up the phone earlier and start recording, but just haven't. Honestly, it's been such a lazy morning, but to be honest, it's been a really pleasant one. Today I am glad to say that actually something is going to happen. It's not just going to be me talking at you for however long. Mum is feeling a lot better. She doesn't sound it, but she is feeling much better. So she's aiming to get out of bed and put the Christmas tree up. Let's see how far we get with that. It might not actually happen, but it's finally, it looks like it's finally time to actually get the decorations up. But I don't know what it is. I feel really Christmassy this year anyway, but when those decorations are up, it just feels so special. Sorry, I'm still sort of a bit... I slept so much better last night. My God. I went to bed at about 9 o'clock and woke up at 7, and I was like, if I could sleep like that every night, I would be so happy. Felt really refreshed. But then I sort of went back to sleep for a little bit, which I think ruined it a bit. If I just got up at 7, I would have been fine. But I nodded back off. Woke up an hour later and thought, oh, that extra hour has done me no good. But yeah, did sleep really well. I think sometimes you can oversleep as much as you can undersleep. But yeah, we'll see what happens today. And I am desperately in need of posting. I need to post my Secret Santa off because that was meant to be done last week, but that kind of went a bit wrong. And what else today? I really want to do some baking. I'm desperately needing to bake because it's something we always do at Christmas, and I like to get it done not early, but like particularly with like the Christmas biscuits, which last quite a while. You can kind of do those a bit in advance. Mince pies need to be done more sort of close to the actual day. But I also just want to make, like, I don't know what it is, I'm really in the mood for flapjack, and it's fine, there's stuff from the shops, but it's just not the same. If you make it yourself, it's so cheap and so easy to make that I just think, why wouldn't you make it yourself? It is better and it's cheaper, and yeah, it's fun. It's literally all in one pan, mix it all together, shove it in the oven, and that's it. So yeah, I might end up making one. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow actually, because I don't know if we have all the ingredients. It's weird though, because with me not having made so many of these in the last maybe 3 or 4 days, you know, I started really well because I started recording on like the 8th, and I thought, oh great, I'll get one done every day, and then it'll be, you know, I'll have it almost a week in advance. But that kind of didn't happen because for the last few days I haven't really I haven't really recorded that much, so it's kind of getting to the point where now where I'm literally almost recording on the day that it's going up, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see. Oh, actually, this one really might be going out on the day. No, I think this will be going out the day after I record it. I have got a vlog to put up for the 4th day of Vlogmas, but to be honest, it's not going to be my most exciting one. It's just not. But we'll see. we'll see what happens. But enough of my chit chat. Let's get on with it. Alright, I'm just gonna quickly get my apron on. I have a really old-fashioned apron that I got from my nanan for Christmas last year, and it has like bumblebees on it. And I'm getting it on because I'm actually gonna make something. I was gonna get some oats for my flapjack, but I think I'm just gonna pick those up tomorrow when I go out because I'm going shopping anyway. So for today, I think I'm gonna make something just with the ingredients that I already have in. I don't really know what yet, but I guess you'll find out.
Today I'm going to be making a relatively simple recipe, which is good for me. And it's something that I used to make a lot when I was very young. But it's taken me quite a while to find a sort of simple recipe to make this particular cookie. But now I have, and I'm looking forward to getting started really. So today we're going to be making thumbprint cookies. I used to absolutely love doing this when I was young, and I know a lot of people who have children will find this recipe really good. It's great to do with children, but at the same time, if you're an adult, it's still a great choice. Like I say, it's relatively easy. It doesn't need any particular equipment that you're not going to have access to. Doesn't need any fuss. You don't need to have any, although it's a dough, you don't need to roll it out or anything like that. You don't need to have a rolling pin. You can just scoop it and roll it with your hands. So it's relatively easy to do. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to preheat the oven, but I'm not going to do it just yet because it takes me a little while to prepare all the ingredients. Some people who are really, really good at baking really fast can preheat the oven and have their prep done within about 5 or 10 minutes. That's not me, it takes me a little bit longer. So I will preheat the oven, but in a little while. So the first step of this particular recipe is to beat together some butter and some sugar. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt the butter first. We need 200 grams, I can't speak properly, of butter. I'm going to get a spoon actually so I can get it out properly. By the way, in case this actually interests anybody, I'm recording today using a set of binaural headphones. So if anyone would like to actually listen to this with headphones, it might kind of give a bit of a nice 360 experience. But yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my butter. It says unsalted. To be honest, it doesn't really. I've never seen it affect the recipe that much if it is salted. That's just me. Maybe it's just because I'm a bit lazy and I don't really like unsalted butter for anything else, so I wouldn't tend to use it that much. But I tend to use salted. And this recipe actually calls for a teaspoon of salt, so I just leave that out if I've got salted butter because, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my scales on. Be warned that my set of scales, they're very good, they're really accurate, but they have a really odd voice, so just bear with. But they were fairly cheap, and I wasn't inclined to spend about £60 or £70 to get a similar set from somewhere that specialised in talking scales. So yeah.
Hello.
Just wait for it to be.
It's ready.
It's ready, and what I'm going to do is just to make sure I'm going to press the tare function just to make sure it is at 0 because sometimes it's a little bit odd. Should say 0. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some in anyway.
54 grams. 56 grams.
There we go. Put more in.
113 grams.
So we need 200 grams. I think that might be too much actually. I'd rather it take a bit longer and add a bit, not enough than add too much because it's harder to get out than it is to put in. So there we go.
189
I'm
grams.
glad I did that because I knew it'd be too much. There we go. And there we go.
213 grams.
I'm going to take a tiny bit out, but there we go.
211 grams.
That wasn't exactly as as much as I hope to get out, but there we are. There, that's better.
195 grams.
This is what I mean. It's all about kind of, it's a fine art really to
199 grams.
That should be pretty accurate.
201 grams.
Right, that is as accurate as I'm going to get it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid back on. Put it into a microwave bowl. I'm going to put it in the microwave for about sort of 30 seconds just to it melts. And then I'm going to weigh out the sugar. So we need 200 grams of caster sugar as well. And we also need a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, I'm sure there are loads of blind people out there who'll be like, oh yeah, I'm really good at, you know, who'll be very, very capable of measuring out teaspoons, liquid teaspoons. I'm not one of them. I'm just not. I don't have the skill, the necessary skill for that particular job. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be very carefully tip in a tiny amount of vanilla extract. It's not the type of ingredient that's going to be really important in the sense that it doesn't need to be massively accurate, as long as it's not too much, because sometimes vanilla can be a bit overpowering. I'd rather just kind of err on the side of caution there, but I'm not the type of person who is going to be, you know, really good at getting accurate measures, especially liquid ones. That's just not me. So yeah, I'm gonna just try and make it as accurate as I can. Might not be as accurate as a lot of other people would manage, but yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna quickly wash this on the scale, and I'm gonna put that butter in the microwave. Just keep checking it. I'd rather check it too frequently than not frequently enough, because I really don't have to clean up a massive explosion in the microwave. What, Coco? What do you want? Now I'm going to tip this into my big bowl. Now I'm going to put in 200 grams of caster sugar. I have my caster sugar in a jar because it's so much easier than having a packet, because it just goes everywhere. Right. Make sure that's on properly.
Hello.
That's such a bizarre voice. I can't really work out what.
It's ready.
He's trying to be American, but again, get the tear function. And
21 grams and 12 grams.
that'll do. I am not going to be too worried about that. So I think I haven't made too much of a mess. Oh, I haven't actually, that's alright. Sorry, I'm just trying to get as much off my hands as I can. And then I'm going to get a spoon. And, oh, I need to use the vanilla extract as well. Right. Actually, I might try and find a wooden spoon. That might be a bit better, actually. No, pour the sugar in into this bowl. Put this back on the scale, and I'll start. All you're doing here is just mixing the two ingredients together, just beating them. I'm going to pour a tiny bit, and I mean a tiny bit, because this stuff is strong, of vanilla extract. This is where I've got to be really careful, because if I pour too much in, it will ruin the whole thing. I love this bowl. We got it a couple of years ago, just after Christmas, and it was in like one of those January sales. And it was like a Christmas bowl. It has reindeer all around the side of it, but it's got textures, so you can actually feel the reindeer, the shape. And also, it's for size massive, and it's got like a lip all the way around the edge. So if, like me, your ingredients start coming towards the top of the bowl, they get caught at the top before they end up spilling over. So very useful. Smell the vanilla. Luckily, I don't think this is I don't think it's too much. Now, what we need is an egg. Just need one egg for this recipe. We're just going to add it. Add it to our butter and sugar. I'm just going to put the shell on the table. I'm going to clean this afterwards. Luckily, I've got some Dettol, right. And just carry on mixing. Just make sure as well that the yolk is broken. And what I'm doing is I'm just tapping around the bowl just to make sure. Probably an unnecessary step, but one that I like to take anyway. Right, now I'm going to wash my hands because I've just been touching raw egg. In the second bowl, I need to measure out 320 grams of plain white flour. So I'm just going to move this bowl back just a tiny bit, just so I've got a bit more room to work with here. Because flour is notoriously messy. Luckily, it has a spoon in the actual tub, which I must have left over last time. Right. Actually, I've got a bit more sugar on the table than I thought I did, but not actually anything huge. Right, okay. So I'm going to turn my scale back on.
Hello. 168 grams. 204 grams. 121 grams.
Oh, there we go. That's pretty much exact. That's as exact as I'm going to get it anyway. I'm going to put the lid back on. Make sure it's airtight. Because in flour, and this is the thing where I have a bit of a disadvantage because I don't have sight, but apparently in flour, if it's not kept properly, if it's not kept properly, you can often get these little, I'm really going to call them bugs because I think they're really, really small, but you can often get these little creatures in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get half a teaspoon of baking powder and add it to the flour. So it's good this one, it goes tablespoon, teaspoon, half teaspoon, quarter teaspoon. So I'm going to get the half teaspoon one and add.
Goodbye.
Yes, okay. I keep forgetting to turn it off. Luckily it shuts off very quickly. This thing is so hard to open. Oh my god. I used to have these little sachets of baking powder, but seeing as the recipes that I was using were only really calling for 1 or 2 teaspoons, I would end up chucking half a sachet away because I didn't really know how to sort it properly. It's such a waste. Luckily now I have a tub, but it's really, really difficult to open. So I'm just going to put that in with the flour. I'm just going to add a tiny bit more because that wasn't quite half. It's not got enough in really. There we go. Yeah, it's quite empty, this tub, so it's quite hard to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to put this into the sieve. I'm going to sieve it in to the other ingredients. And that is it. You just, once you've done that, all you really need is to mix it together until it forms a slightly sticky dough. Now, this particular recipe doesn't actually ask for this step, but I prefer to do it anyway. I prefer to chill the dough off for a couple of hours, just because then it's easier to handle, easier to work with. Sometimes if it's not chilled off, what happens is it doesn't keep its shape when you're cooking it, especially at quite a high temperature. So what I'm going to do is, that's what I'm going to make that step. I'm just going to quickly, just to make sure this is really well mixed, this butter and sugar and vanilla and egg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sieve this in. And what I tend to do with a sieve, that could have ended badly, is I tend to try and get the ingredients moving. I just tend to tap it against my hand and shake it a little bit, and it tends to get it moving a bit faster than it. I mean, when I first started using a sieve, I didn't really know how to do that very well, so luckily I've kind of perfected that. Just poured, luckily this is quite a big sieve, so I've just poured all my ingredients in, pressed it with my palm of my hand against the sieve so it's really compacted really well, and it's just starting to and then it's pretty much almost out. When you're adding stuff like dry ingredients into wet, what it tends to do is it just sits on top and you think, oh, it's really dry at first. So what you need to do is you need to fold it in. And I'm just going to grab my spoon. I'm just going to kind of go like that, just tap in and make sure that it's kind of getting distributed evenly, and then I'm just going to start mixing. It'll take a while. You start thinking, oh, it feels either too dry or too wet, but after a little while you start feeling it go. And what I'm also doing with my hands, luckily they're clean, I'm just going around the edge of the bowl and just dropping off any bits that I feel are stuck to the edge into the centre. Oh, there we go. Now you start getting this little dough forming. It starts getting quite stiff. I'm just mixing it for now, just round and round. And then what I'm going to do in a little while, I'm going to fold it in just to make sure there's no excess dry ingredients left over, because what I found is sometimes when I've made dough, I've just left it. I thought, okay, it looks fine, it looks like there's enough, and then it looks like I've mixed it enough, and then there's all this dry stuff left over in the bottom. So what I'm just doing now is I'm just going to fold it in, and what I'm also going to do actually, I'm just going to use my hands for a bit. I'm not really needing it as such, but I'm just going to use my hands and just try and get this dough to come together a little bit. I'm going to put this in the fridge now to try and make it set. Scoop it into little balls. I usually use my tablespoon measure for that. Roll it around in your hand, put it onto the baking tray, and press your thumb into the middle of the ball that it makes to make a little well, and then you scoop the jam in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it for now. Okay, so it's now been a couple of hours. I'm just about to preheat the oven, and we've got all the dough out of the fridge. It's nice and firm. So this particular recipe calls for the temperature to be 180 degrees, pretty standard. What you want to do is, it says line 2 baking trays of parchment. I've just put one out for now because honestly it doesn't look like that much dough, but I could be wrong, so always nice to have 2 just in case. What I'm going to do is, first of all, the important part is that we need to scoop out the dough. And I've got that little measurement thing again, and I'm going to start measuring out some dough. I'm going to use the tablespoon measurement. Probably hear me getting it out. And once I've measured out the tablespoon's worth, I'm just going to roll it around in my hand until it forms a ball. See if I can get 3 more out of this. Trying to get all the dough. Luckily these ones will have plenty of room. And now for the fun part. Right, so now I'm just going to wash my shoe. Get the jam. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck this. There we go. Right, so now for the interesting part. This is going to be a bit messy, but it will hopefully be worth it. Right, so I'm going to open the jar of jam. Got raspberry jam. Whoa, there goes the lid. Oh dear. Right, luckily it landed. Luckily it landed in the right way. So, now this part, let me see actually. I'm just going to move a few things around. Make this a little bit easier. There we go. Right. So, we now make a little thumb. We just press our thumb into the middle, the centre of the biscuit and make a little well. And inside that well we're going to insert a bit of jam. Just a teaspoonful or so, just to kind of fill that well. I do love jam. Messy to work with, but tasty. Right, that's that. Again, I'm going to rinse my hands. Oh, I'm going to put the lid on the jar first of all. Now, put them in the oven for approximately 12 to 14 minutes. Oh, perfect. Ah, here it is. Right. So I'm going to put the first tray in. I'm going to do them one tray at a time. Got 2 shelves, but if I do them both at the same time, one of them may cook faster than the other. Right. Alexa, set a timer for 13 minutes.
13 minutes. Starting now.
Okay. Now once again.
It's now about 5 o'clock, and it all turned out really well actually. I was quite happy with how it all went. The first batch took about 11 minutes, and the second took a little bit longer, about 13. I was actually a little bit worried about the jam kind of exploding out of particularly the smaller ones where there wasn't a lot of room for the jam to go into, but actually they went really well. Now what I find works really well with biscuits, because when I first started baking a few years ago, I used to cook them until they felt like actual, cooked biscuits, until they felt like the right texture for a biscuit. That was way too long, because what actually happens with a biscuit is that when you get out of the oven, it carries on cooking for quite a while. And I remember one Christmas making gingerbread men, and they came out of the oven feeling perfect. They felt like, freshly made, nice and sort of hard, but not too hard. And then I thought, oh, they look really nice. And I ate one just red hot, and it tasted perfect. And I came back about 20 minutes later and to take another one, and it tasted burnt as anything. It was awful. So yeah, what I would suggest, particularly for somebody who is blind, but this is something that anybody can use a bit of advice. When the very outside edge is crisp, and looks kind of done, but then the middle bit is still a bit doughy, that's when you get it out, because that middle bit will still carry on cooking. Trust me, I know it sounds a bit weird. I know you think, oh, I'll get it out of the oven and it'll be really soft and horrible, but I mean, it's a biscuit. Even if it is still a bit soft, it's nice anyway, but honestly, trust me, it won't be. As long as the outside looks done, the rest will follow. But yeah, really, really happy with how they turned out, and it was just so much fun to make, and I hope you enjoyed listening to me making that. Okay, my Nanan, who literally lives like a minute up the road, she got this hamper from her brother, my great uncle, who lives in Canada. I think you might have heard him on the first VLOGMAS day. I can't keep track. Anyway, she opened it early just because it arrived early, and she always gets exactly the same thing every year. Well, it's the things inside the hamper differ, but she always knows exactly what she's going to get. So she decided to open it so that she could enjoy the contents up to Christmas Day. But she got, as part of this thing, some Kalamata olives. And she isn't entirely sure whether she always thought she hated olives because she tried them for the first time as a kid. But then she hasn't had them for like 70 years. Well, nearly 70 years. So she said, why don't you come up, I'll try the olive. If I like it, then I'll keep them. If not, you can take them home with you. So that's where I'm going to go now. Yes, Ben, what are you doing, hey? Is it Christmas, Penny? Yeah. Be interested to see if you like them now.
Not that.
Be interested to see if you like them now. Or if you really don't still. Oh, it's coming there to do it. I'll come in the kitchen to do it if you want. I like them.
I'll use a knife
Knife?
to stab it.
Oh, I see.
Oh, God, this was too hard.
Really?
Oh,
Oh no!
no wonder I don't like them. Oh, absolutely disgusting.
Oh my god!
Oh.
Oh, I'll have one.
How can you eat those?
I'll have one, please.
I'll get a fork, please.
I love them.
Oh,
They're so nice.
what? You what? Nothing, I'm just trying an olive. You don't like them, they're disgusting.
She's trying an olive and she hates it.
Open your mouth.
Don't turn the water on, please.
You what?
Don't turn the water on.
Oh, just let me fill the kettle.
What?
I'll just fill the kettle. Oh, God, it's vile.
Lovely.
Oh, Lauren, how can you eat those?
No.
Oh, ow. I didn't like them. Oh, disgusting. I'm going to have a eat. Oh, just a bit of taste. It's absolutely fine. It's got all this
So
copper
precious
plate
information.
writing in it. Yeah, William Edward Markham. That's born at 9 Wingate Avenue, Armley, on the 24th of March, 1898. Not
Mm.
19.
Where is that
10
place
PM.
anyway? Is that
It's near Leeds.
ah right.
Amy Markham, she was next to me, Auntie Amy,
Mm.
born at 8 Redshaw Terrace, Armley,
Isn't it funny how people moved house quite a lot in those
Yeah.
days?
on noon 12:30 it says.
Mm.
On the 27th of January 1900.
Oh, so that's how they differentiated between, like, they didn't say 12:30 p.m. or 12:30 a.m. It was like noon,
Yeah.
12:30, and then whatever. Yeah.
And then Irene, I didn't know her. She was the one. Irene Markham, born at Fleecing, 95 Green Road, Leeds, on the 1st of June 1902, died the 8th of October 1902.
Oh, that's so sad.
She was only like 4 months
Oh,
old,
I wonder
wasn't
what happened.
she? I don't know.
Could have been any illness
Yeah.
or cot death or anything, couldn't it? That's very sad.
Elizabeth Markham, that was my Auntie Betty, she was lovely.
Mm.
Born at Griffin Inn, Selby, on the 8th of February 1905 at 12:50. No, 10 minutes to 1, that's crossed out, and 10 minutes to 1. With same difference, isn't it? AM. 10 minutes to 1 AM.
Oh.
Then Dorothy Markham, that's my Auntie Dolly. Born at 12 Towel Street, I think it is, or something. Hare Hills Lane, Leeds, on Saturday evening, the 26th of January 1907, 6:50.
They had a lot of children, didn't they?
Yeah, Annie Markham, born at Griffin in Selby, on Saturday the 2nd of January 1909.
A lot of January babies.
Yeah, because my dad was January.
Mm.
Yeah, so Dolly Amy was January.
Yeah.
Betty was February.
Mm.
Dorothy was January.
Yeah.
Anne was January.
Yeah, a lot of like winter births. I imagine they would have been, because in those days midwives came out and did home births, didn't they? So
Yeah, well, these were born at home.
yeah.
And this Bible was presented to Herbert and Lily Markham. That's
Is
my
that your-
dad's parents.
Yeah, so your
now.
grandparents, yeah.
Yeah. 9 Wingate Avenue, Armley, Leeds, on November the 7th, 1897.
Oh my god. So that will have been given to them probably before they had their first child.
Yeah. And then I think in the back, I think my dad's things in the back.
Mm.
I think. Yeah, William Markham, born at 6 Finkel Street, Selby, on Friday at 2:15 p.m, 31st of January 1919.
So a big gap then between him and everyone else,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
10 years between him and my Aunt Anne.
Yeah.
Then it's got William Edward Markham, that's Bill,
Oh.
born at Stamford Nursing Home, Scarborough, 4:15 p.m, Saturday 18th of October 1947. And Penelope Ann Markham, born at St Mary's Hospital, Scarborough, on Tuesday at
About 8 o'clock. And I think I'm going to end this episode here. Got quite a lot done today, actually. So I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said yesterday, any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them. I would really, really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. And anybody who stumbles across this, I just hope you enjoy yourself and enjoy your time here. That's what really matters. I'll see you all soon.